So we welcome you into Pioneer Basketball with Pioneer coach JT Burton. The Pioneers, a rough week to open up, for the most part, the second half part of the calendar schedule in 2020, taking on Mars Hill and Coker in both of those games on the road. Brian Staten joined by Pioneer coach JT Burton. We started Mars Hill and a game in which I think we had built some momentum from the Anderson contest, played extremely well from that one, go on the road and travel down to Burt Stanford Arena and open up against the conference's best scorer in Jay Brooks. And so for back-to-back games, we have that opportunity to do that. What was the challenge like going in ahead of the contest?
Just trying to maintain, like I said, make him be a volume shooter because the way he scores the ball is, he's a conference leading scorer, and I knew that we had to. It was going to be a tough game because, we hadn't shot the ball well all year, but we had rebounded the ball. But I knew that they were deep and they didn't make too many mistakes, and obviously they came out to win.
All right, first half of the contest, Mars Hill really shot the ball well, and I think they just were very patient. And I said, I don't think in times past we have seen a Mars Hill team be very patient, take good quality shots, and they were doing that a lot of the time in that first half.
That's what I said about Brooks. I mean, that's the difference between him and Brooks last year and Brooks this year, because last year he would take bad shots, get caught up in the game, try to compete, just go one-on-one. And this year he did a really good job of being patient, getting other guys involved. And like you said, they took it. They take and make good shots, and that's what they did against us.
And I felt like our offense moved the ball to get good shots, and early in that first half, they just weren't going in.
No, they was not going in. I mean, we get good shots. I mean, if you watch the game, I know it's not the prettiest thing to watch, but I get frustrated as well until you go watch the film, and the guys get everything they have. It's just that the ball is just not going in the hole.
It was a 9-point lead at halftime for Mars Hill, and the Pioneers came out in the second half, really ramped up the energy, led by Zach Dixon.
Yes, I mean, we couldn't find anything. We was trying to get something going, and Zach did a very good job of being patient and being ready to go. And he came off the bench and gave us a good spark.
It still wasn't a great shooting half for the Pioneers. Keep that in mind, but it was one of the more high efficiency energy second half that we've seen. A little bit like the Anderson start, if you had a chance to see that one. And then for this Pioneer team, as the second half grew on, it was your defense. You're getting turnovers and still more offensive rebounds. Just weren't scoring on some of those offensive rebounds until Dylan Smith started going to the free throw line.
Yeah, and that's what we needed to do. I mean, I told my assistants that we got to get some stuff. We changed our defense up. We started getting some turnovers, started getting in the line, and started getting some confidence because Dylan is our leading free throw shooter, shooting 85% from the line. And I think it's any player that's struggling like he is from the three-point line. You see a couple go in, you'll be okay from the free throw line.
For him, and getting some shots up, they started going in. Brandon Mitchell was a huge force, obviously, again for the Pioneers. Another game in which he has double digits in rebounds, and a lot of that was very efficient, probably in the final 8 minutes. Dylan gets fouled, shooting a three, makes 2 of 3, does the same thing again late, and actually gives the Pioneers their first lead since it was, I believe it was 5-4 early in the contest, and made all 3 of those free throws. And then the final minute and a half probably took 10 minutes to play. Extremely exciting and then emotional. Game tied. Tariq Jenkins has the basketball, goes to the rim, hits the fadeaway, which he wasn't scoring very well in the contest. Right before that, Mars Hill hits a huge corner 3 to tie the game, and then Tariq takes the lead, 8 seconds. Jay Brooks gets it, and really takes his time, was real confident about it, and goes up on 3 guys. And again, you said it, and I agree with you. We may have fouled him, and the ball goes in with 0.4 seconds to play, and Mars Hill ends a 7-game losing streak. But the final, you were saying it, as a coach, you've probably never been a part of anything like that.
No, the one thing about this team, though, I really love is, like I said, it's not the, we ain't going to get up and down scoring a lot of points. But one thing they do, they play hard consistently, and they're never out of the game. And that's the great thing about it. In this game, we could have easily folded, but we didn't. And we, like Dylan Smith got a 3-point play, and then Tariq made a tough shot after they tied it up. And then, Jay Brooks, like you said, that kid right there, the difference between him last year and this year he got the ball and he was patient. He just threw up a prayer. And I after that game, I asked everybody, former assistants and players, have we ever, you remember us me coaching you getting beat by a last-second walk-off shot, so to speak, and I could never remember. We've done it before, but being on the receiving end of that was tough.
It was a Pioneer team shoots 39% for the game, but under 30% in that first half. Mars Hill shoots 35% for the game. Tusculum out rebounds Mars Hill 47-36. Turnovers, a bit of an issue because we don't usually see 19 to 20 turnovers. Had 19 in the contest. Mars Hill with 18. And the second chance points, again, another dominant game on the offensive rebounds, but just 18 second chance points against Mars Hill in that contest. And I think that's where we'll start in between the two games, Mars Hill and Coker. You're getting the second chance looks. They're just not falling.
No, I mean, you go look at our offensive rebound. We're leading the country in offensive rebounds, but I like to see what our percentage is as far as our second and third chance shots, because, you know, normally it's the other way. I mean, you get a team that it doesn't shoot the ball well, but then the second and third chance shots are high percentage. Ours is just, I mean, we're missing layups and we're doing, you know, not putting the ball in the hole. But again, that falls back on my shoulders because got to figure out a way to put the, you know, get the ball in the hole, and we just keep playing hard and keep chipping away. We have no other choice.
Mars Hill gets that victory 67-66 against the Pioneers, as mentioned, ends that 7-game slide against Tusculum. So a tough loss there. Then we travel to Coker, to Hartsville, South Carolina, against a team that has struggled as well, but they have played extremely hard, such as against one of the top teams, the elite in the South Atlantic Conference in Catawba, fell 85-81. Royce Hunter has really come on strong. As for against LR, finished with 24. Against Catawba, he had 29. So he sets his sights to the Tusculum Pioneers. And in the first half for this team, everything seemed to be going very well, swimmingly. I was laid back, enjoying the broadcast, enjoying the festivities. There were no students around, nobody up there bothered me. I did have an 8-year-old turning around, staring at me every once in a while and was trying to steal my crowd mic. I did have that, but it was a real laid-back type of first half and felt real good about it. And you guys were playing very well in the first half.
First half, we came out, we started going strong, playing inside and out, playing on the defensive end, getting the shooters, doing a really good job of limiting their shots. But, I mean, like I said, it's the tale of two halves, and I think you said that. And but it's one of those things, man, that we have to do a better job of getting these guys mentally prepared. I've always said basketball is 80% mental, maybe 85%. And coming out the second half, they made some adjustments. We try to adjust, but it just didn't work.
All right, Pioneers early. I just talked, we're on fire. 65% through the first 4 minutes. Through the first 8 minutes, we're at 63% from the field. First 12 minutes, we're at 64%, and the first half finished 65% from the field. Tale of two halves. Second half, Pioneers scored 14 points, 0 for 9 from 3, 6 of 32 from the field. And you gave credit to Coker and said, you know, they really ramped it up. I give credit to them to go get the misses that you made, because it looked as if, and you're saying we got to find ways to get better shots. The first 3 seconds maybe of the second half, the 0 for 4 in the paint. I mean, we're talking about just overshooting some layups.
We miss wide open layups. We miss, you know, shots that we normally, you know, take. But that's basketball. Unfortunately, it's happening to us now. Hopefully we can turn the corner. I think we will, because, you know, as I told you, after that game, all those guys was in the gym on Sunday without even we had the day off. So with that being said, we'll be okay. I mean, that was tough. That was a tough one, because you lose 2 in a row, you know, a game that you thought you should have won because you got, you know, things going to the basket. You just missed. I mean, literally, at one time we missed 4 layups in a row.
Yeah. That's when I started yelling at the 8-year-old to leave me alone, because that was my second half. I had a total tale of two halves as well. You know, Royce Hunter, I want to bring him up just a little bit, because it seemed like when he had an open shot, I would say, uh-oh. In my mind, I'm saying that because the guy knocked down shots.
Yes, he did. The first half, we did a pretty good job of contesting the shot and knowing where he was on the court. The second half, those same shots that he missed, the first half, that was going in the second half. And when you let a kid like that can score the ball like he does get going, it's tough to stop him. I mean, but to their credit, they kept going. They kept going inside, and we didn't do a good enough job. I didn't do a good enough job of making some adjustments on defense, and they was able to come away with the win.
You know, and they had a guy inside, too, that was doing some things he may not have done all season long. He had a season best there. And he's a big guy. And it just seems like when it started going positively for him, you could just see it, that he continued to want the basketball as well.
Yeah, well, we missed the layups. They made layups, and he did a really good job of going inside to the big guy, but then he was doing a good job of not not only scoring on the inside, but fanning the ball out, getting guys wide open shots.
Jennings' previous high was 11. He finished with 13 against the Pioneers in that contest. As the Pioneers fall to Coker, it ends their 8-game slide. And again, 44 points in the first half, 14 in the second. Coker wins 67-58. The Pioneers end up shooting 39% for the game. Coker shooting 48%. And again, the rebounding margin was extremely high for the Pioneers. And you would expect it with the Pioneers missing the amount of shots that they did in the second half, that they get that tale of two halves. 15 turnovers for the Pioneers, 19 points off turnovers against the Coker Cobras, but just 8 second chance points for Tusculum in that contest. And again, that seems to be the difference right now for the Pioneers, who have dropped 2 straight. They fall to 10-6 on the year, 5-3 in the league, and have an extremely important week coming up. One of it at those games at home, the other on the road. We'll chat about that when we continue with more Pioneer basketball with JT Burton after this.
Family.
Food's here!
What's it mean to you?
Got lunch.
To us, it means the people you care about, look out for, and yeah, love. Even if you'd never let them hear you say it.
Hey, you're eating hummus?
What's wrong with hummus?
Here at Ingalls, we have everything you need to gather around the table and give each other a hard time. Because that's what families do. Ingalls. All the ingredients for family.
Back into Pioneer basketball with Pioneer coach JT Burton. The Pioneers face a grueling week ahead on the road against their rival Carson Newman, and then Saturday at home to open up a 2-game homestand against the Wingate Bulldogs. Rejoined by Pioneer coach JT Burton. And so Carson Newman comes in, they've lost 4 straight, but here's a team that likes to rebound it, and they do very well with some of the things that are, it's frustrating for them. They've lost 4, but this is a talented basketball team.
Very, very talented. I mean, I think this team right here, if they, when they get it figured out, they're going to be really good, man. It's going to be a dogfight like it always is when you go to them on Wednesday. But boy, is that team talented. I'm telling you, they got guards, they got bigs that can shoot it. I mean, they can do it all. And that 4-game slide doesn't say how good they are.
They are very good, and we'll see that 147th meeting coming up this coming Wednesday. You can listen to that on the Pioneer Sports Network. You can watch it through the Carson Newman Eagle website as well, or visit TusculumPioneers.com. Visit the basketball schedule, and you can watch the game that way as well. We like to give Adam some props. He does a pretty decent job during the broadcast as well. Second game will be back at home for the first time in 3 games as the Wingate Bulldogs will enter. Here's a team that's 7-7, 3-5 in league play. It's been a roller coaster type season for them. Reminds me a little bit of us last year, starting the year 0-5 in the league. Here's what Wingate started. Here's a team that was supposed to be an upper elite team in the league this year. Got an outstanding sophomore as well. Went right down to the wire with Trenton Gibson in the freshman of the year balloting. This is a team that obviously is on the rise. This is a team you throw your money on. They've won 3 straight in the conference.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, but their record, and you talk about Carson Newman, it shows how deep and how good this conference is, because it doesn't matter who you're playing, you could get beat, especially on the home court. So, Saturday we got to take care of business because this team is hot. They're getting, they're coming together because, everybody wants to talk about the record before Christmas, but now is the time you got to start turning the corner, and I think they are.
So Jaron Cunningham, he's 10th in the league in scoring at 17.4 points per contest, and Trenton Gibson, the 2 super sophomores, as it is for their 2 respective teams, will come Saturday. You can watch that one as well, and that begins just after the women's game tips off at around 4 o'clock. So things, Coach, you need to see this week from your team.
We got to limit our turnovers. We have got to. That's one of the things that we have to do. We got to take care of the ball, and then the biggest thing is, you got to continue to play hard, but we got to score the basketball. We have to score the ball. That's the name of the game, and I think we'll do okay. I really do. I think it's time we'll start turning the corner because these kids, they continue to work on their own, and that's a testament to them.
Big week for the Pioneers. Tusculum and Carson Newman. Tusculum and Wingate, one on the road Wednesday, one at home on Saturday. We hope you'll join us for that at that time. Thanks to everybody behind the scenes here from the Pioneer Sports Network, and for that guy, Pioneer coach JT Burton. I'm Brian Staten. Until next week, go Pioneers.